this. If the supply of insects were constant, that means there were a lot of insects, and better adapted competitors did not already exist in the country, I can see no difficulty in a race of bears by natural selection, more and more aquatic in their structure and habits, with larger and larger mouths, till a creature was produced as monstrous as a bear. So his perspective is that the bear started swimming in water, and in a period of time, by constantly swimming, it became more aquatic. The body adapted to the surroundings, and it became a whale. Now please remember, this is in today's world actually the original Darwinian proposition is not accepted anymore. I'll tell you why. Because this whole thing is extremely debated. Because how come a creature change? Even today the polar bear which is there is the most powerful swimmer. It can swim 100 kilometers. But please remember, even today, because in the North Poles, the ice caps are melting, many polar bears are drowning. Because they can swim 100 kilometers. But after that, they need ice to rest. They cannot keep swimming permanently. Because they breathe with lungs. They don't have gills. Understood? So basically, how come the bear became a whale? Understood? Or for example, Darwin in another book in his book he writes how the deer became giraffe. So Darwin writes that the deer, there were deer which were eating grass in the ground. Over a period of time, what happened? The grass was over. So deer had to eat leaves from the tree. So it started jumping. As it started jumping, whole life, let us say when deer was jumping, it ended up with a little longer neck. Its child was born with an even more longer neck because it adapted. And ultimately, there were giraffes which are easily eating leaves from the trees. That's Darwin's speculation. Of course, there are many. There was one biologist who said that though the giraffe is, though the deer or whatever is eating from top, to drink water it has to bend down. And if you know the giraffe, most of the time, when the giraffe gets killed, when it drinks water. Because for a giraffe to drink water, it has to spread all its four legs. With great difficulty bend down, and that time only an animal attacks. So, how come? And first of all, neck becoming big because it's not just about the external neck. The heart of the giraffe is 10 times more stronger than the deer because the blood vessels are thicker. It has to pump more blood to the heart, to the head, understood? To the brain. So it's not as simple as Darwin imagined it to be. So basically the whole point is, in fact in today's world, if you see the science, the original Darwin model of species changing like this is not accepted. Today's model is Neo-Darwinism. I'll tell you what is Neo-Darwinism. Has anyone heard about Neo-Darwinism? Neo-Darwinism means the new model is, because DNA was not known during Darwin's time. So current understanding is Neo-Darwinism. Neo-Darwinism means our DNA randomly changes. You understood? That means our structure is based on our DNA. DNA randomly changes, and because of change in DNA, our structure changes. And if that change in structure is in line with the surroundings, I survive. That DNA becomes permanent. Are you understanding? That means deer is there eating grass. Suddenly somehow the DNA changes in such a way that the neck starts getting long. At that time, if there is no grass in the ground, because when the neck becomes long and there is only grass in the ground and no tree, again I will die because I cannot eat food. Correct? So Neo-Darwinism, there is a random change in my DNA, because of it there has to be a random change in my body, but that change in my body must suit the surroundings. So it's a theory. You understand? It's highly debated. So basically in Darwin model, if you carefully observe, the major, the middle and the minor terms. Okay. Let me say Darwin's example. Let's say in Darwin's model, Darwin says that the deer becomes the giraffe by evolution because of natural selection. Okay, so I make a statement. The deer becomes the giraffe because of evolution by natural selection. तो अभी इसमें आप मुझे बताओ, which is the major term, which is the middle term, which is the minor? Come on. Which is the major term? is mainly addressing evolution. Which is a minor term? Deer and giraffe. Deer and giraffe in this case is one entity, right? Because the deer only becomes giraffe. Minor term. And what is this middle term? Natural selection. So see, if you, now what I am trying to do, I will tell you. I am talking Nyaya Shastra, but I am applying Nyaya Shastra on Darwin to see whether it actually fits the criteria of Nyaya. It turns out it doesn't. Because in Nyaya Shastra, two things are required. First of all, the middle and minor have to be seen. You have to actually see it. Like when I say there is smoke on the hill, sorry, there is fire on the hill, because I can see smoke, at least smoke should be seen. It's not that you don't see smoke also. Then it is very difficult to say that there is fire on the hill. So Darwin's case is of a statement where you are talking about fire being on the hill without seeing the smoke. You understood? Because nobody sees natural selection happening where deer becomes giraffe. In fact, after DNA was discovered in 1950s, it became even more difficult to justify, because how come the DNA changes? And then what to speak of the connection between the major and the middle? That means, does this natural selection actually make evolution? So for this, now I am going to have the next half an hour dedicated to showing you some very interesting research from biology. Okay, so now we are moving from philosophy to biology. So in this course we will be doing that, we will be jumping here and there. So just sit back and enjoy. So what I am presenting right now to you is from the research of two Hungarian scientists, biologists, okay, where what they say is the following, and they give maybe 200 examples, and everything talks about Darwin and the connection between the major, middle and minor. That's what I'm going to do. So what they basically, their thesis is this, their proposition. Every species has complex physical characteristics. Every species has complex physical characteristics. Do you accept this? Are our physical characteristics complex? Yes or no? Is every species physical characteristic complex, or is it very simple? Extremely complex. Extremely complex. What about our human bodies? Super complex. Our eyes, my God, what complexity. Right? Complex. And is our behavior also complex? Every species behavior is also complex. And now I'm going to tell you something for which I have to give examples, but I will do that. The complex behavior is in line with physical characteristic. That means physical characteristic or behavior में connection है. I'll show you examples for that, don't worry, hold on. And that behavior is inherited. Now please remember what I'm trying to say. That means basically we say that there are two types of behavior in the world. One is called as inherited and one is called as acquired. Acquired means you learn to do it. Just like I'll give you an example. You go to a circus. You've seen in a circus sometimes you see dogs riding cycle. Dog. Have you seen Pomeranian dog driving a bicycle in a circus? I've seen. I've seen an elephant playing cricket. All these things they show in the circus. Now you tell me one thing. The dog that drives cycle, is it an acquired behavior or inherited? Acquired. Because the dog's puppy, will it be born driving cycle? Will have to teach it. But the dog smells like police dogs are there. It smells. Inherited. That dog's pup. Is it that the mother has to train it how to smell? No, it's just in the DNA. Very good. So the beauty is that acquired behavior is not transferred to your next generation. This is modern biology. That means if you have acquired something, does it go to your next generation? No. If you inherit something, of course, because that is part of your DNA. Is that okay? Very good. Now we will see examples and we will come back to Darwin and come back to the major, middle, minor. Okay, look at this. We are talking about certain species of life. So what you see over here, this is a fish. The fish is called as angular fish. This fish is not an ordinary fish. The difference between this fish and ordinary, this fish has an appendage. Something that comes from here. You see that? And there is a bulb-like structure. So this fish has some chemicals in its body which light up the bulb. So So it has an appendage, a bulb, and something to light the bulb. Now, isn't it a complex physical characteristic? Bulb. Okay. Is it very simple? I mean, wouldn't it be nice for each of us to have our own small light bulb? I mean, where I, have some chemicals in my body only which light up a bulb, so I can. Yeah. Do you have any objection?
The bulb actually is a microorganism.
Yeah.
It is a type of chemical which glows.
Yes, that's what. I know that. I know it's a chemical only. But the point that I'm saying is it too simplistic? Now there is a behavior of this fish. You know what is the behavior of this fish? This fish, they say, does not run around to catch other fish. It just opens its mouth. And because of the light, small fish are attracted to that light and they walk into its mouth. You get this? So this is a beauty. Because the behavior has to be in connection with the physical characteristic. Imagine this fish is running around to catch other fish. Then what will happen? Everyone will come to know that the fish with the bulb is coming. So better run away. You understood? So the bulb will be disadvantaged. Why is the bulb advantage? Because it stays in one place with open mouth. That means and that is inherited. You understood? It is inherited. It knows by instinct. I mean, scientists have done all kinds of experiments saying that even if this fish had an egg and it gave birth to another fish which was not trained by the mother how to eat, still it learns that I need to simply open my mouth and my food will walk inside. I don't have to run like other fishes. Are you getting it? Yeah? So there is a complex physical characteristic, complex behavior in line with the physical characteristic. There is a behavior that is what? Inherited or acquired? Inherited. Now let's come to Darwin over here. And let's talk from this perspective. From Darwin's perspective, how come this fish came? This fish has come from another fish that did not have this bulb. And this fish purportedly has developed this bulb mechanism in order to do what? Survive. In order to survive. Survival of the fittest. The whole question is, how do you establish this connection? How can a rudimentary fish ensure that an appendage comes, a bulb comes, and something to light up the bulb? Huh? Yeah, that's you're saying evolution, but what is the exact mechanism of that evolution? You understand the point? See, evolution is what he's saying here. We understand adaptation to the environment, but that means, see, try to understand the point here. The point here is that a rudimentary fish which does not have this apparatus has to develop this apparatus. First of all, this apparatus is binary. That means there are three components: chemicals in the body, the appendage, and the bulb. That means, the wire, the bulb, and the chemical. Everything has to be there. So the whole thing is, there has to be some more concrete evidence in terms of how come a fish, first of all, if some fish decides only to have wire or the appendage, will it be of some use? I understand what I'm saying. That means the whole unit is binary. You understand what is binary, right? Binary means it makes sense only as a complete unit. If only part of it is there, is it of any use? No. If, for example, a fish develops only the appendage without the bulb, or the bulb without chemicals, everything is required at the same time. So, yes or no? So the whole question here is, when you say evolution, that's the proposition. That's not a proof. That's a proposition. This proposition, what the biologists today say is, it needs much more solid proof in terms of how a fish develops this extra stuff in order to survive. Why will somebody, for example, for all of us, if we had an inbuilt bulb, it would be fantastic. But if we had wings also, it would be great. No need to petrol and run here and there. Just kind of fly. No, but just because I need it, doesn't mean that I get it. When I have wings, then I can just fly and go. Right? I don't have to buy oil, petrol, another company, doesn't happen. Are you getting this point? Anybody has any quick question on this? Are you understanding the concept? We're going to see more examples. But please, I encourage. Any quick, another comment? Like, I'm happy that he said something. Is there anybody else with any other comment on what we are really talking here? Is it okay? Yeah, go ahead, please.
What if the bulb was first developed, then the fish?
Okay, now see, it's like this. You're saying the bulb developed first and then the fish. So, but then from where did it evolve? See, then that is a new theory. Because from Darwin's perspective, the fish this fish has come from a fish that did not have a bulb. It's not that from the bulb the fish came. See, if you see Darwin's theory is what? There is a fish, there are fishes without bulbs. Are there fishes without bulbs or no? There are. You've seen all our life. Fishes without bulbs. So, in Darwin's theory, the fish without bulb developed the fish with bulb in order to survive. You understood? That is a problem, right? So that's how you defend it. That's your stuck. And after DNA was discovered, so what is the modern theory? I'll tell you the modern theory. The modern theory of neo-Darwinism is randomly the DNA of the fish changed. And because of that random change in the DNA, an appendage and a bulb came about. But again, please remember, this is a pure theory. Because it lacks proof. Yeah, how do you show that? In today's world, you have to show a computer-based understanding of how come, something will change and what is the DNA change actually, because it will happen. How come it happened like that? Have you seen anything in that? It's a theory. It's a theory. That's all. That's the status of it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Please see some more quick examples. This what you see is called as the alligator snapping turtle. This is a turtle. This turtle is a very interesting creature. This turtle has this red bulge on the tongue. And what this turtle, it looks like a, like a chili. Lal mirchi. Something like that. What this alligator does is, when it wants to eat food, it comes close to the river, opens the mouth, and sips. And there are many small creatures which get attracted to that red color. It looks attractive. So they walk into the mouth. And the way this turtle eats is when something comes on its tongue, closes the mouth. It doesn't go anywhere. It just stays in one place, opens the mouth, and allows people to get attracted to the red color on the tongue. Does it have a physical characteristic that is complex? Does it have a behavior that is complex in line with the physical characteristic? Is the behavior different? It's in line, right? You see that? Is the behavior in connection with this thing? That means if I had the red bulge, but if I was running around for food everywhere and I never used it, what is the use of that? Is that okay? It runs around for food. No use only. Still, I inherited. The DNA of this animal knows that I don't run for food. Mujhe bhook laga, so what should I do? I should go to the river, open my mouth and wait. Somebody will walk in. Because, and it doesn't, the beauty is it doesn't even know that there is a red thing in its mouth. I'm sure, we can argue that, did it look in a mirror and, we look at our teeth and all, in the mirror. So I'm sure that it is not seen it, but still it knows instinctively. Interesting? So I'm going to take some 10 examples from that book. That book is there, and I'll tell you also which book, and I will read it. This is called a European dung spider. It's not a normal spider. This spider has a property that it secretes chemical from its body that has the smell and color of the droppings of the birds of that area. So whichever birds are flying in that area in Europe, whatever their droppings, it's the smell or color, the same thing this one secretes from its own body, and it puts it everywhere. So what happens? Can anybody tell me what will happen if I do that? Why should the spider do it? Come on, think. Love for knowledge when you're supposed to think. Why will a spider do it? Yeah? To attract insects. Very good. Insects generally sit on bird droppings. So insects will come. One advantage. Second advantage? No. Tell me. Why will it simulate the droppings of the bird? Come on. No, catch the insect that he has said. Another reason.
Sir, hide its identity.
No, it doesn't hide its identity. To avoid the birds from coming and attacking the... No, see, because of the smell and color of the bird droppings, birds do not come and destroy the web. Otherwise, generally, if you know, spider's web is destroyed by birds. Because if birds are flying on a tree and they see a spider's web, they will destroy it. But when they smell that their own, droppings is there, they will not go there. Right? Nobody likes to go to the place where, so they don't go. And because they don't go, then the net is safe. So from Darwin's perspective, this spider has evolved from which spider? Normal spider. And why did it develop this ability of secreting chemicals from the body? To survive. How did it do that? Where are the connections? That's where the trouble is. You understood? That's where the trouble is. That's where the trouble is. Is everyone clear about it? Very clear. Yeah? Very good. This is called as a four-eyed South American frog. This four-eyed South American frog, this is the back side of the frog, not the front side. It has two false eyes on its buttocks. These eyes are not real eyes. It cannot see. It is imitation. So what this frog does when a snake comes, normal frogs, what will they do when a snake comes? What will they do? Run away. Simple, right? What will this frog do? It does an about turn and it lifts its legs. When it does that, it looks like a monster. Snake gets afraid and snake goes back. And then the frog does that. So it uses it as a defense mechanism to frighten the snake. Like you frighten someone and they stop running, then you will run. So complex physical characteristic, two false eye on the buttocks. Complex behavior. What is complex behavior? When you see a snake, you do an about turn and frighten the snake before you run. Normal frogs don't try to frighten because they know that they have nothing on their buttocks to frighten. But this frog knows that it has something. Again, how does it know? Not that it has seen in a mirror. DNA. That behavior is programmed in its system. So again, Darwin will say that this frog developed from a frog that did not have eyes. Why did it develop to protect itself from snake? How did it do that? Let's start with the same point. Yeah, okay? This is another frog. This frog is called as fire bellied toad. Bombina. Bombina is a biological name of this frog. This frog is a poisonous frog. So this frog is yellow from top and red from bottom. Understood? So what this frog does is if someone comes to eat it, it flips over and shows a red color. And in animal world, red color means poison. So the animal and other attackers understand that this one is poisonous. So they go away. So basically this frog says, if you eat me, I will die, but you will also die. Why do you want to eat me? So that snake goes away. I mean, only humans don't understand red color. In our signal and all, even if red is there, people are driving. Animal understands red color. It stops actually. So it's a complex physical characteristic to have red color, complex behavior to flip over and show that I am poisonous. Right? And that is inherited or acquired? Inherited. You are again stuck with all these issues. Darwin is stuck with all these issues. The model. How do you show the evolution? Why did it happen? How did it happen? How do the DNA change? I mean, now you say randomly it changed, well, I mean, there is no answer to it. Because again, so that also has, there is no proof for it. So I'm just trying to, what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends, is that unfortunately this theory today is neither very scientifically acceptable, nor it is exactly according to the rules of Nyaya in terms of how inference should be done. There are rules for inference. You understood? What are the rules for inference? The connection between the middle and the minor, and the major and the middle. Unfortunately, no such connections exist. So neither it is a perfect inference, nor it is scientifically observable. So it becomes a very difficult source of knowledge. That's what I'm trying to say. So throughout this course I'll be doing this. Though I'm talking about Indian philosophy, I'll be connecting Indian philosophy to various scientific concepts that we are all studying. Otherwise, if I just talk about that philosophy, you will wonder why are we talking about it? What is the connection in today's world? We're going to see that connection. We'll end soon, but the sum of life. So in animal world, there is also what is called as symbiosis. So for example, what This is called as a grouper. And in its mouth you can see that small fish. That's a fish by the way. That's called as a blue streak. They both are friends. So generally when this one eats everything in the ocean. But this blue streak happens to be the dentist of this one. So whatever flesh is stuck in between the teeth of this grouper, blue streak will come and clean it up. And that is his food. So basically it is said that the biologists say that in the ocean sometimes this fish, and they have said that in this fellow's belly, they have seen all kinds of fish except this. It will not eat it. It was a dentist. Gaddari nahi karta. गब्बर सिंह नहीं हो जिसका नमक खाया है उसको टैलेंट यू नो for those of you who are not seeing Gabbar Singh, please ask her. You see Gabbar Singh? Yeah, you know. Yeah, people are very famous all over the world. Okay, so this blue streak. So the author says that when this grouper is in the ocean, sometimes several such blue streak enter the mouth. Like sometimes in a Formula 1 racing car, there are several mechanics who change one tire. So like that, one stroke 5-6 blue streak enter its mouth. All of them will clean the teeth. And that is their food. And they will all go out. That's why, you know, in nature it is said that even if one species becomes extinct, everybody else becomes extinct. You understood? There is a connection. You not believe, according to biologists, among all species, there is only one species which is not required for the conservation of the world. You know who is that? Any guess? Humans. Human का मतलब human खत्म नहीं हो गया, तो this सृष्टि is not affected. As in everything functions. But just imagine, for example, in the ocean, suppose tomorrow this shark is extinct. Who will die first? Because by DNA, the only food for it is what? What is the amount of this? This is all, this is all. It's all connected. You understood? It's all connected. They are not going to survive. That's the point. So there are other such friends also. So you have this the shark and you have this is the shark and this is called pirate fish. They are friends. They help each other. So anyway, I will not go into it. For example, the Nile crocodile in Egypt, and this is the Egyptian plover bird, small bird. This one cleans all the parasites from the back of this crocodile. It eats everything. And the crocodile allows it to do that job. The friends. So, in every animal there are such, you know, so again, I mean, going back to Darwin, I'm sorry, I didn't do the connection of Darwin. From Darwin's again, they are stuck with this whole problem of how does this behavior justify? From when did this friendship arise? And if you say that the friendship evolved, then the question is, the whole challenge is in today's world, they observe that even if this sees this for the first time, it confidently enters its mouth, knowing that it will not eat meat. You know, so this whole thing is DNA stuff. So I think I'll just go a little bit ahead. I'm going to skip certain slides. Like what I want to show is that even animals, you know, they have various signs which are all inherited. Like the wolves which are there, when they fight, what they do is when a wolf is losing the match, it will show its neck to the opponent. And the neck is the softest part of the wolf's body. Because if the other wolf even bites the neck, it will die immediately. But still, when it loses the match, it will show the neck. And the other wolf will understand. That's what only human beings don't understand anything. So it shows also they give, you know, the dangerous. But human understand. So it shows the neck and the other one lays it. So you know, bees, you know, they have this complex thing. Like in 1973, there was this proof done that bees dance in a geometric way. So when a bee comes from beehive with honey, it dances in a geometric way to tell the other bees at what angle from the sun you should go to find honey. So it will dance at 70 degrees. Then all the other bees will understand that 70 degrees from the sun we should go for 2 kilometers and we will get honey. And that is where this fellow has got honey first. This is geometric dance. So basically it's a very complex behavior. This behavior is said to be inherited. It is not known how these things develop. It's not known. These are other examples, very, very strange examples. This is the fish called as a salmon. And the salmon the most interesting part of the salmon is it is born in the river, it enters the ocean after birth, and it travels a distance of 1,200 miles into the ocean. And after 6 years, when it wants to mate, the salmon will travel 1,200 miles in the opposite direction. And it will come to the same place where it was born. How does it come? By smell in the water. And it comes to the same place, gives birth to the next generation, and it dies. And the next generation goes into the water. To repeat this after 6 years. You understood? So basically these are all very, very complex physical and behavioral traits. And they are all inherited. So the question of things. So, I mean, this is related to a very interesting thing called as migration of animals, which I'll talk about very briefly. So you have this bird, which is called as the American golden plover. This bird stays here in Alaska. Every year, in summer, it flies to Hawaii. Now the interesting thing is this bird cannot swim. This bird's weight is 128 grams. So before it flies, it eats extra and it becomes 195 grams. And it flies at a fixed speed of 72 miles per hour and covers this distance in 3 days. And non-stop 72 hours. And when it comes here, it is exactly 128 grams. That means it has eaten exactly enough for the journey. They say that had it eaten less, it would have drowned just before Hawaii. Because its body weight cannot reduce beyond that. It just sucks. You understood? So there are very, very complex physical and behavioral characteristics in animals we are talking about, which are all inherited. There is no experimentation. Not that one generation of birds as they fly, they drown and they send a message or a WhatsApp to the other birds. Next time, please eat a little more and start off. Yeah, so some more examples, but I'm really not going to go into them. But all I want to say at this point, just to conclude this whole discussion, is again the same thing. The connection between the major middle and the middle and the minor. This is very clear to everyone here in this example. Does anyone have any question on what I have just presented? I connected Darwin evolutionary theory to what we spoke of in Nyaya. Has everyone understood this very clearly? Any questions here? Okay, good. So now the last part that we're actually going to do is a verbal testimony. This will take some time, so this is obviously going to come only next time. So we are really here talking about verbal testimony means instructive assertion of a reliable person, that is somebody who knows something in that basis. So basically verbal testimony is valid. Now we are going to look at verbal testimony. When is verbal testimony valid? Two things. What that fellow says should be perfectly understood and he should be a trustworthy person. Correct? I mean, if I'm looking for feedback on this Panasonic camera and I'm searching on Google, I'm looking for statements that can be very clearly understood and also by somebody whom I feel is trustworthy. So many times on the internet we don't even know whether people are trustworthy. But still we believe them. We just see how they write or whatever and we come to certain conclusions. So we will investigate verbal testimony next time. Okay? And with that we end today's class. Okay? Thank you. One second, I have to take attendance.